Hello everyone, I am The Walking Virus, and welcome to Should You Play, the web series where I invest the time into a game so that should it suck, you don't have to. Today we're going to be talking about Gladiators Online: Death Before Dishonor, a free-to-play game available through Steam. So, let's start out with a bit about how the mechanics of this game work. It is much more of a management simulator than it is anything else from the looks of it. You'll start the game, you'll have, I believe it's 2 or 3 gladiators when you first start. Your quarters can only contain up to 4 to begin with. You can end up upgrading that with some of the in-game currency and whatnot. But essentially you will have your gladiators, which I will click on one here. You will have a bunch of different stats for attacking, like damage, how soon you get to attack, your hit percentage, critical chance, all that fun stuff. Defense stats, conditioning, all that type of nonsense. Now, you can kind of customize the looks, not very much. It's pretty much just hairstyles and some other stuff. The equipment, you do have to actually purchase equipment for all of your gladiators. You can only purchase equipment for the level that they are, so you can either have higher or lower than or equal to the level they have. And you will be attaining skills as you level up the gladiators. Now, I will hop us into a fight real quick. Now, there's 2 ways of doing it, at least in the beginning. There is the no-risk ones, which I'm going to hop into here, because the combat is not... it's not player-friendly. We'll put it that way. If you go into the risk ones, there is actually a very high chance that your gladiator will just completely be killed. You lose all of the bonuses and other equipment from them. So let's hop into the combat here. As you can see, the actual combat is a little bit clunky. I actually had to do a bit of research to find out that this was not, in fact, a mobile game, because it felt very, very much like one. And as you can see, it's just a lot of, like, sidestepping, it's swinging. The combat and the controls just feel very, very clunky. Oh, we managed to hit one of the lag spikes. One of the very many that the game seems to have, where it will actually just take it an entire second or two to register the fact that you're hitting buttons.
The fear in your eyes betrays you.
And it doesn't do a very good job of displaying this fact, other than just not doing anything. It will just allow you to not do anything for quite some time before it actually continues on. Now you can block. You end up running out of endurance fairly quickly if you do that too much. You can sidestep most attacks if you time it right, which can be very, very tricky with how the lag and everything ends up affecting
Do you
it.
bring a monthly rag?
The other aspect of the game that I'm not exactly thrilled with is the really, really poor insults that they decide to throw out. It feels very, very childish in my opinion, but that's not really my decision.
Stop
If
hiding, you little shit!
you like the dialogue, that's fine. I just personally found it kind of awkward. So it'll go through the little cutscene of, you know, will he live or will he perish? And since we went into a no risk, he will always live. And that completes the actual fighting aspect of it. Now, luckily my gladiator didn't take too terribly much damage, but after every single fight, you will most likely want to go to the sanitarium, and you would go to restore health. Now, it does cost some of your winnings to actually heal your gladiators as well. It actually takes real life time. Now, you can use more of your winnings to make that duration less, but this is the other reason why I felt that it felt really like a mobile game. I just couldn't understand the implementation of this for this game. It just didn't make any sense to me, but it might make some sense to you guys. So that's pretty much the entirety of the game. It's you end up doing an arena fight. If you want to be more risky, you can, but considering there are so many glitches and lag, I just preferred not to go into the riskier ones, because every single time I did, my gladiator would just die because it would just start lagging midway through the match. They would get the hit in before that, and then it would go back to lagging before I could actually get a hit. Not to mention, because all the stats are randomized, there is a high probability that you will actually come across someone that you can't hit very reliably, but they can hit you extremely reliably because they got a better gladiator. Speaking of, we'll go to the market. This is where you actually go and purchase the gladiators. There's 4 different classes, I guess you could say. They don't really do too much different, except for some of the combat skills have different effects. But essentially, again, you're going to be looking at all the different gladiators for sale. They have like different levels of gladiators. Some of them cost the in-game currency. The premium ones cost real money currency. And you have to bid on them, hope that you do not get outbid, and then wait the real world time that is remaining on the auction to make sure that you get it. So it's something you even have to be keeping track of there. Now for the healers, you only start with 1. That's all you have whenever you do it. You can hire additional healers from the market as well, the doctors. The problem is that you only hire them for a certain amount of time. No, not the doctors, the healers. Here we go. You only hire them for like 1 day or 7 days, but that entire time you're having to pay the upfront cost of your in-game currency just to have them for a specific time, rather than actually hiring them with like a salary like most other management games would. You're constantly having to refresh that contract. So it just felt very, very tedious to me. It felt not optimized to what it should be. I just don't think that it's in a position that it really is very enjoyable. I could see, like, at least with like Football Manager and all the other management simulation games, I could see where the enjoyment came from. This one, it just feels like busy work. It doesn't feel like anything you're actually doing really gets rewarded later on, because there's all the glitches and all the other just nonsense in the actual combat portion, which feels very clunky, where I just don't feel you get rewarded appropriately for the time you're putting into training these people. That is, of course, just my opinion, but if you are a really big fan of the management games, if you're a big fan of like mobile games and you like playing them on your PC, this might be one that would be for you, but if it's not, I would highly recommend you not play it. Well, that's my opinion. If you guys have any comments or feel like discussing this any further, feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Hopefully you guys like and subscribe, and until next time, keep gaming.